Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Nvidia update video. So today, as per usual, let's talk about Nvidia stock. Let's talk about what happened in the market today and what happened to Nvidia and what we can expect really moving forward. So ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said and done, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor, but with all that being said and done, let's jump into it. Nvidia closing the day down about 3.66% on the day, which is roughly in line with the market, but it is showing some potentially, not great signs moving forward, but, we'll see. Let's talk about it and I'll give you my personal thoughts. So jumping into it, Nvidia with a massive bearish engulfing candle on the daily chart, right? There's absolutely, there's absolutely no questioning that. Massive bearish engulfing, right? And that's obviously a bearish sign, right? On the daily chart, that is a bearish reversal candle potential, right? We need to see follow through as per usual, but that is a start to a bearish reversal, let's just say that. So that's number one. Number two, we are breaking down below this trend line. Breaking down below this trend line is not ideal, right? Because this now signifies that this was just simply a false breakout, and those aren't what you want to be seeing as a bull. Those aren't good. And a lot of the times what these can do is they can actually snapshot us back down to the opposite direction, in this case, to the downside. So, that is some caution to be warranted, right? We'll talk about the bearish things first. We have the stochastic on the daily chart, very overbought and now flipping bearish. Also a little bit of a cause for concern, right? Not something you want to be seeing as a bull. So there are some signs of concern, right? Those things are not good, right? Lower highs on the BX trender, even though it's still showing a green band. Those aren't ideal. You definitely want to, take those with a grain of salt, right? Be careful because of those, right? That is a little bit concerning, right? But moving forward, right, we are now approaching, well, we have technically went right down to my first level, 1, 2, 3. Remember I mentioned that support level? We pretty much went to it, found a little bit of a bid, nothing too crazy, but definitely a little bit of support there so far, which has acted as a support and resistance in the past. So that is support level number 1. Breaking below 1, 2, 3, I do expect Nvidia to come down to this slightly increase in volume profile right around here, closer to 120 to as low as about 117. And if we drop below that, I expect us to come down to about 113 could provide actually a little bit of volume support over here, but below that, definitely 110 to as low as like 105, 106-ish could be the next level for Nvidia as well. So definitely want to be watching out for those as well. Now, on the short term, Nvidia, it is not looking too hot, right? It's not looking too hot. It is oversold now in the short term on the 1 hour, but kind of like most stocks, we kind of went sideways for a bit, then we finally crashed below the level I've been talking about. We had a false breakout a little bit in the morning, but I told my members, you want to wait for those 1 hour candle closures. Can we close a 1 hour candle above 130? Well, we could not, right? And that's where, things start to become a little bit more problematic because this ended up being a bit of a false breakout. And then on top of that, we ended up flushing well below this, range that we've been talking about for quite some time. And then, it pretty much just continued flushing with the market as a whole, right? So that's not what you want to be seeing, obviously, right? Unless you're someone that wants to re-enter or you're a bear. But yeah, the main thing I'll be looking at right now personally on the daily chart is the fact that I don't like the fact that we have a bearish crossover on the stochastic on the daily. I don't like the fact that this was bearish engulfing and this was essentially a false trend line breakout over here, this green trend line up here. So those are not signs that I am personally, if I had shares or if I was, if I maybe just entered, let's say yesterday, those are not things I'd want to be seeing personally. Just my opinion, of course, but that's something I'd definitely be a little bit more cautious about for sure. But yeah, those are the main things I'm looking at for Nvidia, right? It's not that much more to talk about, right? I mean, those are the levels, right? I mean, for the upside, you really want to see Nvidia reclaim like 127 to 128. Like you definitely want to see those levels reclaimed. Because otherwise, it's, if we ever come back up to it, it's just in theory going to act as a resistance now. So you absolutely want to see that reclaimed and you want to see it get back above this trend line as well, right? So that's going to be ideal. You can also see 21 EMA over here, all the way down here at about 120. It'll slowly move up to us. So if Nvidia does come down to 120, 21 EMA should act as a nice little support. 50-day moving average is also sitting at about 120, also a nice little support. The band's regression has now exited from overbought territories, and the median reversion line is of course sitting at around 116. If it takes a while to get down to 120, well then this will most likely come over and meet us somewhere in the middle, right between around that 120-ish range as well. So again, if we do flush even lower to about 120 to about 117, there is some pretty damn nice support sitting there waiting for Nvidia, which at the moment I expect to hold. Obviously, if it doesn't, the levels to look out down below. But that's kind of what I am seeing right now moving forward. So yeah, not that much more to add. I mean, Nvidia did have by far the biggest bearish flow today, 130 million confirmed bearish flow. So that's definitely not ideal. That's definitely something you want to, raise your eyebrows towards, because it's like, well, that's interesting, right? That's, that's a little concerning potentially. So we'll see how that actually plays out moving forward. We have Jackson Hole tomorrow, so keep that in mind, right? that could potentially change things for the market naturally. So we'll see how that also plays out. But those are the main levels I'm looking at Nvidia, and those are the main concerns I have for Nvidia. False breakout, bearish engulfing, and a stochastic bearish crossover on the daily. Even though the daily still looks pretty fine for the most part, again, I like the stochastic quite a bit. It's a pretty good indicator in my opinion, though obviously you can see many times it has failed back here. So for instance, it had many bearish crossovers back here when Nvidia was just skyrocketing, and it didn't come to fruition for quite some time. That could be a possibility. It's not, nothing is guaranteed. Just this one indicator isn't the one end and, you know, one all be all sort of indicator that's just perfect and never wrong, but it is something I value personally myself. And, you know, that's not something I like to see personally. But yeah, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.